I'm going to remove the Twitch for a second just because it's disabled for some reason. So, okay. I believe we are live. Hey, there we are.
Hey.
Halfway remember how to do this. There. Now it looks a little more better.
All
A little
right.
more better. All right. Well, pardon all the stuff behind me, everybody. This is Nick, Gather the Nerds. We're finally back. Sam
Finally.
has joined us with his awesome Halo Reach display behind him. Quite fantastic. But all the mess behind me is due to still ongoing house related things. We just haven't quite put everything back up. So
Is the
every
wall
so
of
often.
Funkos going to go back?
Oh well, no, those never came down. They're
Okay.
they're in front of me and to my left.
Oh,
This is all the crap behind me. The space behind me, I couldn't get to this part of the room because we just had to pile everything in here. We redid our flooring, and with that comes having to find space for things. And so flooring's done. Things are getting back where they need to be, and I can make my way through. So it kind of works out. We'll take it. But guys, this is Gather the Nerds, episode 183, I believe. It has been a while, so if you have missed us, if you have not missed us, too bad. We're 182. See, it's been so long, I don't even know. Episode 182. But if you've missed us, fantastic. If you haven't, too bad. We're here anyway. And Sam and I were talking, and there's just all sorts of things that we have missed over the last several weeks due to life. We've just had, I've had stuff going on here. Sam's had stuff going on with him. Cav's had stuff going on. Hannah is with Sam, and so she's also had things going on. And Church, we're pretty sure he's still hunting Bigfoot with Jose Canseco. We're not 100% sure, but I believe that's what I heard. So we're just going to jump right into it and have a little bit of fun. It may be a short episode, but we wanted to just kind of get back and let everybody see us, assuming you wanted to. But first thing I think we got to talk about is the Olympics. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Very excited.
So the Olympics are back on. It's a little bit different. They are not allowing fans in any of the venues. We did watch the cycling competition, the road race, the end of it, thanks to a good friend, Matt, that shared that it was even on. Watched the end of that, and there were plenty of fans along the roadway, but again, outside venue, not indoors, that kind of a thing. But indoors is proving to be a little bit difficult for people due to a recent, uptick in COVID cases in Japan. So, we hope that everything goes well, and so far, I think it's going pretty fantastic. Just looking over the medal count right now, USA's got a step their game up a little bit, but I think we'll get there. China currently has 4 medals total. Italy is in second, which is my ancestral country, with 2. And then Japan is also in third with 2, or tied with Italy for 2. South Korea with 3, and Ecuador with 1. Ecuador's gold medal, I believe, came from the cycling road race today. So that was a pretty impressive finish with 5 miles to go. This guy from Ecuador just takes off. And I mean, he dropped the entire field. There was nobody around him to compete for first. And he crossed it, nobody around, arms up. It was amazing. And so super cool. And then the sprint for second and third was outstanding. They slowed down to a crawl, and then the guys in the back took off. And same country, same team. I think they each have 2 people maybe working together, and then all of a sudden they get caught by the field, who then sprinted after them. Is impressive finish, one of the best ones I've seen in a while. So the Olympics is going on. Surely there's something there that you enjoy sport wise or country wise that you can watch. I was really happy that cycling was on the main TV, but also 3v3 basketball. Sam, have you ever played 3v3 basketball? They call it 3x3, but it's 3-on-3.
I mean, I'm sure I did when I was younger, and we didn't have enough people for a full team, but
exactly.
Wouldn't have expected it.
I didn't think I didn't even know it was a sport. I've been so disconnected with how everything got canceled in 2020 and just, all that. But apparently it is a sport that has taken over other parts of the world. It's the women's 3x3 that we were watching. I don't know if there's a men's 3x3 or not, but it is fast paced. It was really fun to watch. When I came in here, USA was playing Mongolia and USA was ahead. But it's like one team scores, the other team gets the ball, immediately has to take it out past the 3-point line and come back. I mean, it's schoolyard rules. It's amazing. And it looked like it would be so much fun. And they each have 4 on the team. And the coaches are able to coach up until the start of the game, and then they can't say anything. They're not even allowed on the court. Like, they were up in the stands watching. So it really is a player's game. So it was really fun to watch. And kind of interested to see how USA does in soccer. I don't believe it's done yet, but I know that they have done well in the past. So think it will be sensational to kind of see how it all wraps up. What are your favorite Olympic sports, Sam? Do you have any specific favorites?
I've always been a fan of soccer. Very excited about that. Yeah. And basketball, of course, everybody that remembers, the dream teams.
The dream team.
Yeah. Has fond memories of basketball.
I think I ate the most Wheaties I've ever eaten that summer because of the dream.
Yeah.
I don't even like Wheaties.
Well, they, yeah. But yeah, I think they're my 2 big ones.
For sure. Summer, again, the thing that I do like about the Olympics, at least here lately, is they have really evolved with current sports. I always felt like when I watched the Olympics for a long time, the sports that I played or that I participated in weren't shown on TV. It was always gymnastics or figure skating. And that those are great. Don't get me wrong. They definitely are a very unique skill. They just weren't sports that I was able to do or wanted to do. And so when I was able to watch soccer, okay, I can get on board with that. The thing that is always interesting to me is when you can find Taekwondo and judo, because those are summer sports, and I believe they're still summer sports. And they're usually on at like really obscure times, like 2 a.m., 4 a.m. So when I had a DVR, I would find when Taekwondo or judo were on, and I would record it just so I could go back and watch the matches. Because they're so, you want to talk about dynamic sports and just pure athleticism. Those are some of the awesome sports to watch. And then we get to the Winter Olympics, and curling is my jam.
Oh yeah.
I love curling. Oh my gosh. If that's the only sport I could watch, I'd be fine with curling. Yeah. So I'm excited that they're going on. My wife's excited for figure skating, ice skating, gymnastics, those kinds of things. Track and field is something else that I really love watching.
Oh yeah.
Just because I'm slow, and it's impressive to watch all these people do all these things. So I feel like, many times, and hopefully, by the end of all this, the Olympics kind of brings people together. Mm-hmm. Because we see the talent that we have as well as other countries, and I think it's a beautiful thing. So
absolutely.
Anyway, and then kind of continuing along the Olympic conversation, Sam made me aware of the 1,824 drones that were used during the opening ceremony of this summer's Olympics. And if you have not seen,
the game today for soccer, it was the women's team was playing New Zealand, and they won 6-1.
There you go.
So that's another reason why I like soccer.
It's amazing.
The women's teams always destroy everyone.
Yeah. No, and that's the beauty of it, is like
men's team didn't
so
even
much
make it,
talent. Do what?
I don't think our men's team even made it.
Yeah, I don't. It's kind of hit and miss with that one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But the women's team is on fire.
But I'm sorry, it's the drones.
Oh, you're good. The drones, 1,824 drones were used to create all the lighting for the visual show, that was done during the opening ceremony. And if you've not seen the video, I suggest that you Google it and search it out because holy cow, it is amazing. Because I've tried to fly one drone and I stink. So I can't even imagine creating something like that.
It's incredible. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And congratulations to the women's soccer team. That's amazing as well. Don't want to shadow them over in drone talk. Just doesn't make any sense. But the most that we've seen up until this point, it seems like, was the pre-tape segment of the 300 Intel drones at the Super Bowl in 2017. So 300 versus 1800. That's a significant jump in not only skill but just technology and being able to do all the things that they do. So
incredible.
Very
the
cool.
Coordination and the lighting, and it just, I can't believe it.
Exactly. Well, and like you know, as the article goes on, this is on Engadget. 3,281 were used to display. Let's see here.
The biggest one.
Hyundai-owned car brand Genesis. I was trying to think how to word that, and then I just had to read it. Put on by Shanghai, China, which is just out of this world. You know, the skill that people possess is amazing, and you know, it's just amazing. So, go check out that video. It's totally worth your time. It's not too long, and it's about 1 minute and 15 seconds. And then you'll see the rotating globe. So very impressive stuff. Very impressive stuff. All right. Well, in Charles Barkley fashion, Charles Barkley feels like you should be able to handle your business when someone disrespects you. As a human being, I kind of agree. You know, there's kind of a way about it. Charles Barkley has his own way of saying things. And rightfully so.
The article is really just specifically referencing a fan dumping popcorn on Russell Westbrook as he's going off the court, and it's really unfortunate whenever you see, you know, an athlete that, I mean, regardless of how you feel, I mean, you shouldn't be able to just throw stuff at people, or you shouldn't even feel inclined to throw stuff at people.
Well, and I think horrible. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head right there. I think it's people's entitlement with throwing things. I think it's people feel too comfortable. And there's a quote that I've seen recently. It's more of a meme at this point, and who knows if he actually said it or not, but I believe that he did. It's from Mike Tyson, and it says people have gotten too comfortable insulting people without having to be punched in the mouth, you know, something to that effect. And so,
a really good point.
You know, it's like we've become a society where we feel like we can treat any person the way that we feel like we need to treat them. And at the end of the day, people are people. And yes, Sam, you're exactly right. You shouldn't even have the notion to do that to a professional athlete or anybody for that matter. And it's unfortunate that this situation with Russell Westbrook, as well as several other players this year on the NBA side of things, have experienced really negative fan interaction. It's really sad that that's continued because it's completely unnecessary. And, you know, yes, they're a professional athlete. Yes, they make a tremendous amount of money, but they're human beings and they have dignity. And there's absolutely no excuse for that. And like Sam and I were talking before we even got on, same thing happened at a baseball game with the Red Sox just a little bit, 2-3 days ago. Alex Verdugo was hit with a baseball. And while a baseball is definitely more dangerous than popcorn, the level of disrespect is still there. And it's completely uncalled for and unnecessary. And his reaction was very much the same as Russell Westbrook. So, lost Sam. So he must be changing or something. I don't know what he's doing, but I'm going to keep talking. So when deal with, do what?
No bats.
No bats. Fair enough. I guess really the main takeaway from this, besides the fact that, you're good. You're good. The main takeaway besides what Charles Barkley said and that kind of thing is just respect people. Treat them right. Treat people the way that you would like to be treated. Get back to being a human. We've had enough turmoil over the last 2-3 years at this point with COVID and things like that. That there's really no reason to dismantle each other any more than someone might already be, because you really don't know what they're dealing with. And if you treat them the way that you treated any of these people in these situations, you're really kind of showing how you are, and that's just not a good thing. So do better, people.
Did you see the in the bicycle race not too long ago where the fan had like a big sign just a little bit out into the course and just took out everybody?
So that caught news because it changed the outcome of the Tour de France.
It did.
Not uncommon, believe it or
Really?
not. They don't normally cause the wrecks, but it's not uncommon for those fans to be in the road. There's a guy, and it's been so long since because I don't have cable anymore. I don't watch the Tour as much as I would like to. There was a guy, and he was always on like Alpe d'Huez, which is a huge mountain, or Mont Ventoux. And on either one of those, he'd be dressed up as a devil. And by devil, I mean like the red horns, red outfit, all the things. And he would go running after these cyclists that are on a breakaway. Like, I mean, he's just running up this hill like this. So it's really not uncommon for those types of things to occur. It's uncommon for it to cause the accident. And again, we're kind of in an accountability era at this point, of where you're so entitled that you're going to do this, not recognizing how dangerous you're being for yourself and other people, because any one of those riders could have been injured.
Yeah.
Bike. I mean, those bikes they're stiff as could be, but they're also made of carbon fiber and they're pretty sharp when they break. Could have hurt somebody, I mean, any number of things. And so, yeah, that was a huge disappointment for sure that even occurred, but not uncommon in that particular thing. That's why it was nice to see that the road race had barriers in the places where people would be more able to get to that place. But you can't have barriers over 100-mile course when it's a road,
Oh, man.
So there's just no way. So, but yeah, craziness. As long as nobody's throwing anything at a cyclist, I think I'm all right. Speaking of cycling, sad day for what team was that? There was an NFL team. NFL coach.
The Buccaneers.
Was it the Buccaneers?
Oh, I'm just kidding, because they won last year, right?
I don't know. Is that who? I don't even remember who won. That's terrible. I watched it and I called it. New York Jets assistant coach. Okay. Sorry for this. I was not trying to be insensitive. I just completely forgot. But NFL coach for the Jets, the assistant coach, dies of injuries following being hit by a car.
Oh, no.
Now, I struggle with how media portrays certain aspects of things. A bike wreck's when you run into somebody else on a bike, or you fall over, or you hit something and you fall down. When something hits you that could crush you on a given day, that's not a bike accident. That's a vehicle, hitting a bike. And so I think how we frame it really makes a difference with how we perceive what's going on. I mean, yes, it was an accident most likely, but it was a vehicle that struck him. It wasn't like he just fell. So unfortunately, he passed at 58 due to the injuries that he sustained. So very sad thing, but those are the things that people don't really think about when you're stuck behind a cyclist on a road. They get frustrated, just move out of the way, get off the road. There's trails. Well, there are, and you're not wrong, but there's not sidewalks everywhere. And when you're a sidewalk, you have to yield to pedestrians. And if you're going too fast and someone hops out in front of you, then you're, so there's all these kind of litany of things, and you're a vehicle. So should you really be on the sidewalk? So, just be patient, understand that people have families. People have people that care about them when they get home. So just be cautious when you're out there. Not trying to tell anybody how to drive, but just, another incident of someone who unfortunately kind of struggled with the bike and kind of lost the battle. So
I will go ahead and tell people how to drive. Don't hit people.
It's probably not a good look. Yeah, probably not a good thing for sure. Yeah. At all costs, if you can avoid it, not a good thing.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to bring up before I forget, because this was on IGN, which is fantastic. Jeremy Hahn, an artist that is about an hour and a half away from us in a whole other state. And we've had him on the podcast a few times. Great artist. created something during the pandemic that kind of captured a lot of different things. Used primarily as inspiration, the pandemic helped him create this horror graphic novel called The Hanthology. The thing that I think is so powerful about the fact that his project that he did on his own, that he came up with, is on IGN, is the fact that I know the person who's being talked about. That's rad. Like,
it is.
That's super cool. Other things that he's done in the past have been Constantine, The Beauty, which is another kind of self-created thing that he did with his friend Jason Hurley. Jason Hurley also lives in the same town that Jeremy does. They either cooperate or co-own or some aspect of Hurley's Heroes comic books, which is on Main Street in Joplin. Definitely go check them out. Cool place to be. And so he's created this kick-started Hanthology horror graphic novel. And the parts that I've seen of it, because I've kind of watched it come to fruition just on his Instagram, have been outstanding. The logo is basically him, but in like a horror face, which is insane.
Like a Cthulhu.
yeah, exactly. It like the fact that you could create that of yourself, and like I look at it and I go, that's Jeremy Hahn. That's impressive to me, you know?
Yeah.
The other thing about Jeremy that I find absolutely fascinating is the fact that when he draws himself, it looks like him. When he draws his kids, his family, it looks like them. But another cool aspect of a lot of his art, and I learned this by talking to his wife as well as him, he integrates a lot of features in the backgrounds of his artwork that are local to where he is at. So there are parts in Batwoman, certain shots or angles of pages that he's done that have buildings in Joplin, but they're listed as like a Gotham related thing, but it's a building that's in Joplin. So that's a creative thing that I wouldn't have even thought, because you think of Gotham as looking a certain way, but when you draw it, you could probably do whatever you wanted, and it's just impressive.
It's a big city, you know. There could be Joplin parts in Gotham.
Exactly. There could be Tulsa, Oklahoma parts for sure. But, you know, Hanthology is basically a collection of short horror stories that examines all of the things that everyone felt over the past year and a half during COVID. Each story stands out on its own, but also connects to a bigger mythos within the book and my larger, I don't even know, Ovray. I'm not sure how you say that word. Han is quoted as stating. So basically, you know, during the pandemic, what a lot of people don't understand, and maybe you don't because you don't look into comics, is the comic industry stopped. There was literally nothing. So Jeremy had to have something to do from a creative standpoint, as well as just probably a financial standpoint to some degree. And so this was an opportunity for him to create all of this and bring all of this to us. And it's just absolutely impressive. I mean, I can't wrap my brain around the fact that I know somebody that did something so cool that is being talked about on IGN. It's just, that's pretty neat. So if you haven't checked him out, definitely check out Jeremy Hahn on Facebook, Instagram, and, you know, check out his stories, check out his Kickstarter, buy his art. I mean, he is an impressive artist. The Beauty is by far one of my favorite books that I would have never picked up if I didn't hear from the artist what it was about. Probably would have never picked it up because it just didn't visually hit me. And then once I appreciated the story, I could appreciate the art, and then I could understand how it all tied together. Like, totally worth the time, totally worth the read. Absolutely suggest it. And then he has another book, and I'm at a loss for what it is called. I cannot. The
Red
Realm.
Mother?
That's what it is. Oh, Red Mother as well. Yeah. The Realm
yep.
is who I was thinking of. So the Realm is kind of like, if I had to summarize it, think D&D, but in the real world. You know, like you're hunting things, you're finding things, you're dealing with invasions. You know, all the things that you would do in D&D, and heavily inspired by D&D, no less, as well as horror and science fiction. So definitely check them out. Definitely worth your time. You will not be disappointed by the Honthology, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by any of the other runs of comics that he's created. He is a very humble and unique person, and I am very happy for him to be so successful in doing this. So congratulations.
You mentioned the Kickstarter. It is fully pledged.
Correct.
He was asking for 24,000. He's double that, which is fantastic.
Yep.
There's still 12 days to go. Some of the stretch goals are still out there. I really want to get the, now that I'm looking at them, I really want to get the book and the coin of 4 and 7. It's actually a little brass coin. I'm going to get that. I'm going to carry it around. It's going to be amazing.
Well, and that I think that's probably that's something else to mention that I feel like is important. Something that kind of helped me fall in love with his art, and just in general with his thinking and processing of things is in all the projects that I've been familiar with since I've met him, the Beauty, the Realm, and then Red Mother, as well as the Honthology. There have been special opportunities for things. So the Beauty had like an exclusive black or brown bag, hidden cover. You weren't supposed to post a picture of it. You weren't supposed to talk about what it was. So I'm going to maintain that, even though I know what it is because I have one. You weren't supposed to say anything about it. And so do all of that. That's a special thing that if you knew where to go and you followed him, you could buy one, right? Limited number, all that kind of thing, variant. Well, then you get to all the way down to this, and he's got pins, coins, books, shirts, you name it. Like, he thinks of all the little things that someone might want as a collector, and he kind of puts them all out there and sprinkles them around, The Realm was another really cool thing. We posted on our Instagram a while back, when the Realm first started, of pictures of specific kits that he was going to mail out if certain people bought certain things. Like, there was a process you had to go through to get to that, and there were only a limited number of things. But he created all the little maps and the pictures and the notes. You name it. It's just impressive. What were you going to say, Sam?
Oh, I was just going to say, on the Kickstarter, there's also he's doing a whole bunch of custom art, and it looks like he's selling the actual pages that he originally did for the Honthology. And so there's all kinds of stuff that he's offering that is really great for collectors.
Absolutely. And if you're in a place to buy any of his art, I would definitely suggest it.
Also,
it's impressive.
I just want to point out, Jared has kind of broken the news. Batman has won a gold medal in something. I'm not sure what.
Batman has won a gold medal in something.
That's what the comments say.
Okay. All right, Cav. I'm going to have to Google this as we're going. Batman wins
gold medal.
I have a feeling it's someone named Batman. Oh.
I have a feeling he didn't actually
2008. Maybe this is what he's talking about. I don't know for sure. But
I think he just wanted to say Batman.
Maybe, but he's not wrong. In 2008 Summer Olympics, Bershawn Batman Jackson won a bronze medal in 400-meter hurdles. He also has 3 medals, 2 gold, 1 bronze at World Championships, and 1 gold medal in the World Indoor Championships.
So there you go. Cav, if you were trying to troll us.
Yeah, if that's what you're talking about, we got you. Sam also likes basket weaving, not basketball. Just saying. Thanks for the troll, Cav. Thanks for the troll. And yes, I think he just wanted to say Batman. And he was probably saying Batman mainly because I probably was saying Batwoman and instead of Batman. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. He private chatted us, I think. Oh, he says he's backstage. Ha! Hey, Cav, there you are. Now you're not backstage. You're front stage.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Welcome to the party.
Thank you. Batman. Batman wins all the gold medals is what I was saying. He could win all of the gold medals.
All of them.
Even in 3v3 basketball?
He only needs one. It's 3v1. He still wins.
He's got that much skill.
He does indeed. You were talking about Anthology, so I felt like it was a perfect opportunity to pop in.
Hey, pop in. Say what you want to say, man.
I assume that you're the one that is buying up all this art.
I am buying up some of it, or actually one piece of it. I have the cover.
Nice. Nice.
I grabbed that. He will be making a return appearance.
Good.
At some point, I'm letting him rest and recover a bit, but he's down. I've been talking to him about everything. Nick, you had mentioned the pins and stuff like that. I'm in a car, by the way, if you can't tell. Everybody, hi.
No, you were in the Batmobile.
It's true.
Batmobile's a car.
It is a blacked out car, so technically, yes, this wouldn't be the Batmobile. This would be the Bat Tank.
Okay. There you go.
One of the enamel pins, which is so freaking cool, all the different variants. If you look very closely, one of the color schemes on the variant pin is Skeletor.
Yep. Yep.
Speaking of that,
absolutely.
The new He-Man Revelations series dropped on Netflix.
Amazing. It's amazing. Awesome. Yeah, I'm on episode 3 right now.
Nice. But yeah, no, he was. Jeremy was not really prepared for what happened because he funded that thing in less than 24 hours. I think maybe 4 days. Maybe it's a couple of days. Very quickly, and so he's added some new art and stuff like that. Some game art, so that's pretty cool. And it's gonna be I'm stoked about the coin too, Sam. I was glad that they hit that. That particular stretch goal. I have to add on a bunch of stuff because I want a T-shirt or two.
Two.
He always does super high quality.
Uh-oh.
This guy over here
just disappearing.
No, it was you. I didn't disappear. I heard Sam the whole time.
Yeah,
I think the Bat Tank has bad Wi-Fi.
Does the Joker have your Wi-Fi password?
You think the tank needs better Wi-Fi? Is that what you said?
Yes.
The Wi-Fi is broken in the tank. So
disappointment.
Yes, but I was saying I'm excited about the going down another hill here, but excited about the coin and other things. So I may be gone now. I don't know.
No, you're there. We're just pausing to listen and make sure we don't interrupt you. That's all.
Yeah.
You're gone. It's like it's like we're professional Zoom people after all the stuff we've done.
Yeah,
it's true. And yet you still
so very cool. So
what, Sam? You said 12 days left, right?
Yep.
Yes.
On the Kickstarter.
Yep. So, I'm gonna have to get in on this. I haven't yet because I just have been busy doing other things. But I'm gonna have to muster up something and make this happen because I'm gonna need one of those. That coin is cool.
The coin is cool. All the pins are cool.
Shirts are cool.
It's gonna be. The shirts are very cool. Like he always has high quality shirts, so that's gonna be fun. But yeah, there's a lot of really last I looked, there's a lot of really great artwork still left because he's doing whole stories at a time. So, and some stories are single pages, some stories are 8 pages. And I haven't looked in the last week or so, but they did a where basically you could give him a few prompts and he would write a 4-page story to be included in that. There was a 1-page story thing available also, but I know that got snagged. I think there's a 4 and an 8-page story. Certainly the most expensive tiers, but you're also going into a production book. So
$7,000. He'll draw a 7-page story from your prompts.
Yes.
It's pretty cool though if you think about it. Like if that's what you want to do, like you be immortalized in a comic book, why not?
Yep.
I know.
I've been killed in one, so I'm okay.
I was gonna say, did that ever happen yet?
Yeah, it's done. It's out.
I guess I haven't seen it.
I got a glorious death.
Of course, I've only been within probably about maybe 8 feet of you for over a year.
Right.
That's true.
So.
That's very true. But
because you missed the movie.
I did.
True.
I
But yeah,
did.
so there's some really great stuff left. He was telling his story, if you go to his Facebook page, there's the kind of the pre-launch, like a trailer. He did like an hour long or 2 hour long, like talking about the process and going through everything and all that other stuff. And he was explaining the drawing of something for like $1,000 or whatever it was. And he's like, you could say it's a kid lost in the woods and there's a monkey and a werewolf. And he's just like, of course, a monkey wins that fight. But so I was talking to him about it. He's like, I might actually have to draw that and put that in the book now.
So be on the lookout for the story about a monkey and a werewolf.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
With a kid in the woods.
That's funny.
So yeah, it's gonna be. I'm excited for him. It's gonna be awesome. Like I said, he'll be making a return appearance before long. He's been doing a lot of different media and stuff like that. So because he's only like 90 minutes from us, I figured we'd give him some time to recover.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
So, and Batman wins all the gold medals. That's all I have.
That's all, okay.
That's funny.
So, okay. Well.
Okay, drive straight,
sure.
guys. Don't turn. Don't turn.
Keep true.
Yeah.
What mile marker? What mile marker are you at, and what state are you in? Are there woods around?
Nick is
not going to the
mile
woods.
marker we're at, and are there woods around?
No, because we're in Dallas.
Blink
still in
3
Dallas.
times
I
if
do-
you're okay.
There's no good places to hide bodies when we're not.
Oh, not okay. He's not okay.
And my kids are in the car.
Yeah. Can you hear her?
It sounds like she says she has accomplices in the car.
That's what I heard.
Sam said it sounds like you have accomplices in the car.
No, they would
And here's the
totally
thing:
not.
they'll never tell.
It's true. That's true. We are on our way back. We're still in Texas proper, Dallas area. Sort of. We're Sherman, so we're way out yet.
Sherman, Texas.
Yes, indeed. Hit Micro Center several times. Struck out every time.
What are you trying to get at Micro Center?
Whatever I can get my hands on.
Anything with a chip on it.
Exactly.
Yeah, good luck with
Anything
that.
a chip on it. I don't think that you guys knew, like, a fun story. Like, the day we left, Best Buy did a GPU drop, like the Founders Edition GPU drop, like all across the country did them. I was in line at Best Buy at 3 in the morning.
Oh man.
How long was the line?
By the time it opened, probably 200 people. I was about 100 people deep at 3 a.m.
Holy cow! Did they announce that they were going to do the drop?
They announced it about 18 or maybe 24 hours before.
Man.
Wow!
So
And what GPU was it?
all of them, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s.
Oh,
And so it was the Founders Editions that only Best Buy gets. And so, yeah, there were people there who, had been there. I think the guy who was first in line had lined up at 2:00 in the afternoon, like the day before, and they were basically handing out tickets at 7:30 that next morning.
So did you get anything?
I did.
Oh, nice. Okay.
No, at 3 in the morning. Yeah. I was like doing the math when I got there. And this is one of the reasons why I love the internet so much is people had figured out stock numbers, like what SKUs they were using. And they used the website that people use to find Funko Pops. And they used that website to basically talk to Best Buy's inventory system.
Yeah.
To figure out what they had.
Oh man.
So like I knew that many people in that I was fine. The question is what was going to be gone by the time it got to me.
Right.
And it went, the 3080s went first, and there's a guy behind me who really wanted a 3080 who missed it by 2 people. But those people had been there for a while. 3080s went 3080s and 70s. 3080s went first. 70s were mixed in there. They had the most 3070s, then 3060s. 3090s lasted for a while just because they're more expensive. And there were people walking out with 2 3090s because they had more tickets than people wanted. And so, but then a few people just walked up at the right before the store opened, and they wanted a 3090, got in the back of the line and got what they wanted.
I mean, yeah.
Sometimes that's the luck.
I mean, I guess if you're going to buy the higher tier thing, then yeah.
I was convinced that the 90s were going to be gone because at that point, you're there at 3 a.m. You want the horsepower. Like, there's a decent price difference between the 80s and the 90s, but not the 80 Ti's and the 90s. And so, but I was incorrect in that assumption. But Micro Center does a raffle. You scan a QR code, and basically they post on their front door every morning at 9:30, and they say, "We do or don't have GPU." Sorry, at 9. At 9, you either do or don't have GPUs, and here's what we have in stock. They only do 3070s and 3080s. They don't do 3090s. And you scan a QR code between 9 and 9:30 in the morning to get randomly entered into the raffle.
Oh man.
And then that's how they select people. So there was a raffle 2 of the 3 days, and probably 50, 60 cars in the parking lot at least. Some people are rolling up like 4 deep in a car though. Saw a few entire families roll up, and their kids are scanning the QR code, which doesn't necessarily work because you have to have a state ID because Micro Center has a rule
I was going to ask
that basically you go into a database and you're limited 1 per household every 30 days.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, it is by far the most fair way to do it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to stand in line at 3 a.m. And the reason they did that is because people were camping out, and not to be this is typical Texas, but somebody a month or 2 months ago or whatever, somebody pulled a gun on people in line, and that was the end of that. So yeah,
crazy.
We're also passing Buc-ee's right now.
Hey, get those beaver nuggets, man.
I don't know, we're not stopping this time. But so yes, never too early to start talking about Backyard. I have fabulous prizes. It's gonna be amazing. Lots of fun
fabulous
things.
prizes.
So okay, well,
very cool.
Fabulous prizes, even better than last year.
Ooh.
Last year was a high bar, even better than last year. So, okay, well, gang, have a good time.
Cool.
I will look and chat and such. We will see everybody later. So far, I am safe. We are just past the Buc-ee's and Melissa if I don't make it home. So
okay, I know right where that one is.
So she says
that's where we'll.
She says the only weapon she has is 4 hockey sticks. Like, that's not enough.
I was gonna say, I've seen that movie.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Sam says he's seen that movie. So that's true. She says that Trent won't let her use the 2 new ones he got this weekend. So really, she only has 2. Again, I say more than enough. So,
more than enough. Absolutely.
Oh man.
Yep.
All right, man. You better run fast. See ya.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right. Well, there's Cav. He's still alive and kicking. Thank goodness. He might have just got himself in trouble. I don't know. We'll have to see if we don't hear from him in a couple of days. So
make a trip down to Buc-ee's.
Yeah, I need beaver nuggets anyway. It's cool. Not really too worried about him. So Church has chimed in, and Cav says, Hope, green apple Skittles, that's it. That's because green apple Skittles are an abomination, and Cav does not like Hope. So
there's a horror story that writes itself.
For sure. Oh man, you better believe I nursed all those all lime Skittles I got. I ate some of them when we were stuck in Houston. I ate some, and then I ate some in on the way back on the plane. Finally, when we got home. So Okay, so kind of moving along, we'll kind of get close to wrapping this up, I think, just a little, because there's just so much to really kind of talk about that I don't know that we could really do
That's very true.
do justice of everything. Looks like they are going to be casting Green Lantern for HBO Max. So there will be a series at some point, it seems like, that will be Green Lantern on HBO Max. Now, the real question becomes, with a Green Lantern series, where do you go? What do you do? Because really, if you're on HBO Max, the sky's the limit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, there's no reason to be stuck with the same story you've had. You know, you could do a lot of different things. Let's see here. I'm reading the article kind of as I'm talking, so bear with me. I wasn't prepared, and I went ahead and went with it. But
I was going to say,
go ahead.
I think it's a really good idea to go into the world of the Lanterns. I think they had enough flack for the last one that this is a really good opportunity for them to kind of recreate the character, do that. I guess that, reboot that the comics world loves to do. But I would love the idea of a different Lantern being the focus of the movie, because that's the neat thing about the core is, there's so many different ones you could follow and so many different stories you could tell.
I agree. And I think that is a very dynamic thing about the Lantern series in general. Just you see the Earthling, that's the Green Lantern in all the movies we've had, right? So the fact that there's just so many other aspects of it, I think it makes a lot of sense to maybe even tell a story for each one, or a couple stories for each one about how they became a Lantern. And I think you hit it spot on. I think it's just a really good story, and if they do it right, I think it'll work out.
I love the character. Ever since I was younger, I always thought it was a really neat concept, and I love the powers, but I never quite got the color weakness thing.
Yeah.
And I think that they could probably do a better job of showing that on screen.
For sure. I can remember as a kid loving Green Lantern. I had a Green Lantern, just one toy. Loving it. And I can specifically remember asking for a Green Lantern shirt.
Oh man.
And at the time that was, I mean, if you had something like that, you had to find it because it wasn't just readily available, because it wasn't Looney Tunes,
right?
And so even to this day, I would still love a Green Lantern shirt. I don't own one, but I would love to, be just only from the fact that it's just something I love growing up. Kind of along those same lines of growing up, the He-Man series on Netflix. Oh my gosh, guys, go watch Masters of the Universe on Netflix. Do not sleep on it. It was created by, well, not created, but the showrunner is Kevin Smith, who I feel like does a phenomenal job to tell these stories, because it's his fan base. It's what he loves. And Mark Hamill is Skeletor.
So
perfect. Good. Plays a perfect villain. Jason Mewes from Jay and Silent Bob is Stinkor in episode 2. So, I mean, it's so cool. As we were watching it today, because we started it today, Harper was watching it with me, kind of off and on. I was like, Harper, I had that toy. I had that toy. I had Castle Grayskull. I had that machine. I had that guy. Like, I had all the different people. Well, not all of them. I had quite a few in general. And I was like, that's all of it. I had all of them. And my wife was like, are you shocked, Harper? And Harper, of course, is like, no. And I'm like, man, they were so cool. Had Castle Grayskull, had Battle Cat, had Skeletor, had Evelyn, all those things. And that was my toy. Those are my toys. So it's a really fun experience from a person who watched it growing up. And I feel like so far, episode 3, they've done a phenomenal job for the fan service, but also telling a story. So it's really pretty cool.
I think those shows were partially more to sell the toys than they were for the show themselves.
Oh, for sure.
And so
For
it's
sure.
really interesting when you have like a modern storyteller actually trying to put more content into the universe.
Well, and they're putting he's created a situation where there is a solid storyline, but it's got all of the callbacks to every single aspect that I remember from a kid so far. You know, like Mainframe. You know, he's got all the eyes that flip around, right?
Yeah.
But he's on the little, I don't even know what it's called, but it's a machine that he rides on, and the thing spins around it as he's going. I had
Mhm.
that toy, but it's like as I'm watching that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing, you know, and you know, having Beastman and Merman, and, you know, all the thing. It's just so cool. So it's definitely worth it. I would definitely suggest watching it. I would also really suggest just watching it and enjoying it. If you've never watched Masters of the Universe because either you're too young or maybe it just wasn't your thing, watch it anyway because it's really good, and it's a good story so far. Now it may tank as it goes, but I highly doubt it. So we'll see. But speaking of toys, do you remember Silverhawks? It was a show.
I don't.
And they had toys. Now, what the show was about, I don't really remember so much, but I remember watching it and I remember playing with the toys because I loved it. It's kind of right around the same time frame as G.I. Joe and He-Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they were kind of like a robotic alien looking thing. Like they always had a suit on.
Okay, yeah.
And when they would come out there, they had wings under their arms. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
So
the
toys, you would squeeze. Yeah, you would squeeze their legs together and their toys would fly. It's so cool. So, yeah. It's been a good day in terms of just remembering childhood memories. So, you know, and Thundercats and just all the things. So, well, it looks like Kraven the Hunter has cast Aaron Taylor Johnson as the Spider-Man villain. So, looks like we are going to see a spin-off movie for the villain Kraven that you kind of see in well, the thing that I'm most familiar with is Spider-Gwen, or what's now called Ghost Spider. She battles Kraven for a little while. But it'll be interesting to see it in Spider-Man because the thing that I liked about Spider-Verse and Spider-Gwen is it's this, they're all living through the same experiences while also having tremendously different experiences. It's pretty cool. But Kraven the Hunter is a movie that is a spinoff of, I'm gonna guess, a Spider-Man show at some point, but looks like he is going to be involved in a movie, and Sony is going to be the one appears to be putting it on. So it may kind of follow the suits of like Venom, where it's going to be a very different Marvel type movie, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, you know, that's the thing that I think gets Marvel and DC kind of stuck in a rut is they tell stories a certain way and it works for them. But if that particular story were to be slightly different one way or the other, I think maybe it wins people. Marvel has a good job of kind of appealing to everybody. DC's kind of like its own audience. You know, they know what they're good at and they do it. And there's nothing wrong with that either. But Sony has a different way of telling it. So it's either going to be really good or it's going to be really bad.
Venom was good. I enjoyed it.
I did too. I thought Venom was great. I'm really excited for Venom 2 when it finally comes out. But I'm excited about that. I think Morbius could be good. I don't know a lot about the character, but I think it could be good. Is that the one that Jared Leto's playing? Is he the vampire, Morbius?
Oh, yes. He is a vampire. I don't know if Jared Leto's playing.
Maybe it's not Jared Leto. Maybe I just thought it was.
I mean, it might be. I haven't heard. Wouldn't be surprised. Yes, he is cast as Morbius.
There you go.
Wow.
Okay.
That's fantastic.
Right. Yeah. It's been a while since I've done this, so I was hoping my brain wasn't just prying.
I was going to say how interesting it is that Aaron Taylor Johnson is playing Kraven after playing Quicksilver.
Right?
So he's making the jump from the Marvel, from the Disney Marvel universe to the Sony Marvel universe. But then you bring up somebody who's making the jump from the DC universe to the
Marvel.
Marvel universe.
Yeah.
So
Crazy,
apparently
right?
we're just going back and forth all the time now.
And the
Same
the
actors.
funny part is like in a comic book that would never work, but in a movie it's fine.
Yeah.
It's totally cool.
That looks really
Totally
familiar.
Yeah. Why do I know that guy? What is that laugh about?
Huh.
Feel like I've seen him somewhere before. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So it'll be interesting. We'll just have to kind of see how all that goes. But I think
Hey,
it'll be a good thing.
If you want to talk about the Noid, why don't you join us?
Right? Thought more.
I see that. Okay.
Yeah. He did find Neo too. You're right. You're right. So Ryan Reynolds, speaking of Green Lantern, Ryan Reynolds, in Free Guys. Have you
That's exactly what I was gonna mention. I was gonna say.
Have you seen this commercial?
Trailer?
Yeah.
Oh man, it looks amazing.
Yeah. I saw it a while ago.
It.
I mean, obviously the pandemic kind of shut things down, but I saw it a while ago and I thought this looks hysterical.
Yeah.
Because he's just kind of operating and like all these things are happening around him. He has no idea. It
was supposed to be released last year, and then they
maybe
pushed
that's
it
what it was. Okay.
I think they pushed it to May, and then they pushed it again, and now it's August. When is it? August 13th. So I just want you to know I'm already calling it. I don't care what other movies come out this year. That is going to be my favorite movie of the year. I already know it is. I don't know what else is going to be, but that's going to be number one for me.
Do you think it's because it's a video game based movie with Ryan Reynolds?
I mean, that pretty much does it. Yeah. It's at this point, he's pretty much just playing Deadpool and everything he does.
This is true. I mean,
and this whole movie is all just him breaking the fourth wall. It's about him breaking the fourth wall while he's breaking the fourth wall as a character within a game, within a movie.
And doesn't Deadpool make an appearance, or is it? Isn't Deadpool in the suit somewhere? No.
I mean, it's possible it might.
I thought I had seen that somewhere, but maybe not.
Well, I think around the time the most recent trailer was released, they also did a commercial where he and Korg were talking about something. It may be in the agenda. I'm not sure.
That might have been what I saw then. I also want to say I absolutely love the fact that Ryan Reynolds stole the Deadpool suit. Like, I mean, he just walked off with it.
I mean,
I love it. I love it.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
love that he was like, there was no way that I'm not going to have that suit. Go ahead. What were you going to say, Sam?
It was a commercial for Free Guy, and it was on Ryan Reynolds' like YouTube page or something.
Gotcha.
Where it's him and Korg talking about how great Free Guy looks.
That's so funny.
It's an amazing trailer. I mean, commercial for the trailer, I guess. I'm getting really lost in all the layers there, but yeah.
Wow. That's all right. That's hysterical, though. That's so cool. That is one of the things that I do like about Ryan Reynolds is he doesn't seem to take himself too seriously.
Oh yeah,
he just kind of has fun with it. So
and that whole feud between him and Hugh Jackman, it's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, did you see that they brought Jake Gyllenhaal into it as well?
I didn't. That's great.
So there was like around, I don't think it was this year, I think it was last year, but around like Christmas, he's at Hugh Jackman's house, I think, or maybe it's Jake Gyllenhaal's house or whatever, but they're like wherever they're at. And they told me it was a Christmas or a sweater party or something, like it was a Christmas party. And he's in a Christmas sweater and they're both in t-shirts pointing at him laughing, and so
and he is so dejected. Yes.
Yeah. So
I Googled it and that's amazing.
Yeah. So Jake Gyllenhaal's in there somehow, but that's cool. Speaking of like, actors, have you seen the video where Jonah Hill comes out of like, I don't know, a gym or Starbucks or somewhere? He's like walking out and then all of a sudden Leonardo DiCaprio sees him from down the street and runs at him with his phone in his hand. And then Jonah Hill's got his headphones in, so it scares him, and he kind of like jumps, and he pulls his phone down, and he gives him a big hug. I mean, because they're friends, but he was acting like he was a fan. It's hysterical, you know, and they had a good laugh about it. But
I have not seen that.
Speaking of Leonardo DiCaprio, he's in town.
I heard that.
Yeah. He is filming what is Killers of the Flower Moon, and so he and Robert De Niro are actually in Oklahoma.
Exciting.
So and Leo was actually at the Outsiders house that's here and toured all that, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So, and apparently Amazon didn't own enough stuff, and so they bought MGM for $8.45 billion. So now they own a movie company. Billion. So, you know, the great part is it's quoted as saying the real financial value behind this deal is the treasure trove of IP.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's interesting because, you know, they've been trying to push, you know, the Amazon Video services for a long time, and they've got some good content there, but I don't know as far as original content how much they're adding to the stuff they're buying. And it's interesting to think they might start to use those IPs and those studios. Concerned about what for?
Well, and I think like anything else, you know, Amazon's kind of in that realm of competing with Netflix and Hulu. So they've got to try to keep up. And that the thing is like HBO Max is also another version of that. Apple TV is another version of that. So even if you cut cable, let's just say you cut cable and you want to buy all of that, you're paying the same amount.
I know. Apple TV. Have you watched Ted Lasso? Do you have Apple TV?
I have a very old Apple TV. I do not have a newer one. I have like Gen 2.
You have, I don't know if device?
Yeah. Ooh. So I don't know if it works or not. Like for the Apple Plus, I do have a Roku.
Do you have an Xbox?
Yeah.
Do you have a computer?
Yeah, I'm on.
All three of these things can watch Apple TV.
Okay.
And I just want you, as soon as you're done here, go install Apple TV on one of those devices, log in, and watch Ted Lasso.
Okay. Is it kid appropriate?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
It's
not going to be right when I get done with this then. Just so you know, it's not going to be right away.
No, I don't care.
I've already got commissioned to get up in the attic after this is done.
Yeah.
So
did you hear about Ted Lasso, the character from like NBC Sports a while back?
Yes. So a friend of mine sent me the video of his news interview.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I had no idea. I just thought it was funny. Didn't have any idea. And then I started seeing the commercial for season 2, and I was like, wait, hold on. What? There's a season 1? How did I miss this? And
they used some of the same bits that they did back then, but it's it's an actual TV show that lasted, I think, 10 episodes first season. The first episode of season 2 came out yesterday, and
there's Josh Kerr.
It's so good. It's just really, really good. Again, very inappropriate, but so good.
Well, I'll have to definitely check it out then. The thing that I thought was funny about it is because it's about soccer, right? Like it's the soccer show. That's funny. There's
just
also
to give everybody the elevator pitch.
Okay, go ahead.
He's the coach of the Wichita State, I don't know, whatever they are, football team that somehow he takes them to the national championship, and this video of him dancing with the players in the locker room after the victory goes viral, and this owner of a soccer team over in England decides to go ahead and hire him to coach soccer,
their
European football.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And he has no idea about the rules or anything, and they're just giving him a hard time from the moment he shows up. But the show is all about hope and forgiveness, and just through all the cursing and all the just hate that he receives, it is still a very uplifting show.
Okay. Well, Harper won her soccer game as well. They are still undefeated.
Oh, fantastic.
Today they didn't have enough kids on the other team. Like, I think there were only like 5 on the other team, 5 or 6. So they actually played 3-on-3 with a goalie on each side.
Oh,
so
okay.
a little bit different, but gave everybody an opportunity to really kind of practice some skills because there's less kids crowding the ball.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I know how it is.
It's pretty fun to watch. Do what?
Yeah. I know how it is at that age. They just kind of all cluster
There's
up
no
around
offsides.
it.
They just they squash the ball. Yeah.
I think if they're short, they should have a parent stand in on each side.
Yeah, there you go. I would have died today because they took a lot of water breaks and they actually called the game early because they needed an alter. Somebody got kicked with the ball and like couldn't play anymore.
Ooh.
I mean, and it was like straight to the chest. Like it was a hard kick, and he couldn't play anymore.
Scarred.
And then another little kid, another girl on the other team was feeling like she was gonna get sick because of the heat, so they just ended up calling the game. But it was like, I don't know, it was like 5 or 6-0, or 5 or 6-1, something like that. And last week it was like 7-3, and I mean, it's just they have won every single game, but it's just there's some kids on the team that really should probably be playing up, and because of the way that it's structured, they're not playing up. So lucky for us, I guess, but it's pretty cool to watch kids get better because both teams. There's only, I think, like 4 teams, so we've played everybody already, and we're playing them again now. And watching both teams get better, it's impressive. It's pretty cool. It's really pretty cool. So I got to watch Ted Lasso. Okay.
Yes, Ted Lasso.
Got it. That was the whole point of that conversation. Thank you.
Whole point, yes. And in fact, my whole point of being here today is tell everybody, watch Ted Lasso.
Go for it. Scream it from the mountaintops. Go for it. So there is a rumor about Doctor Strange, or not Doctor Strange. Sorry, Scarlet Witch and Loki happening at the same time, to the point that when He Who Must Not, or no, not that's Voldemort. He Who Remains kind of pauses in the middle of his speech. The internet has suggested that is the point at which Scarlet Witch becomes Scarlet Witch. So we'll see. But we do have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness coming up, so there's going to be some of that's happening, surely. Marvel was very specific to say that you wouldn't understand what was happening entirely if you weren't watching the shows, so there's some of that as well. My guess is the internet's probably onto something, and I'm just a fan watching it at this point. But Doctor Strange has also lost its director because of a difference of vision. So in the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, the director of the sequel decided that he needed to part ways because he had a different vision for how things were going to go in the movie. And I think if we know anything about Marvel, they're gonna deliver. It's not going to be one of those things that they don't, but they have a very specific way that they want things told for very specific reasons. Otherwise, they wouldn't be telling people to watch all of the shows to know what's going on. But it was just creative differences. So looks like we'll be hopefully not too delayed, but we'll have to keep an eye on that to see where we go for Doctor Strange. I would really like to see this show in the theaters, and hopefully we can get there pretty soon. But we'll see. We'll see. Black Widow. You saw Black Widow?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Worth it?
It was fantastic. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to quote Mitchell, and he said it is the best Marvel movie that he has seen.
I mean, it is very, very good. I think the people that are complaining about it are complaining because it kind of fits in a weird place. Like, essentially, it fits in right after Civil War. And
okay.
I think we were all expecting there to be some sort of a forward momentum, this to be the next step in the universe. But actually, no, it's just really jumping back to that time and filling in a gap and it's giving her an origin story, which I think we really needed. I think it fits in perfectly with, you know, all those movies back in, you know, phases 1 and 2. It's every bit as good as all of those. In fact, it's better than most of those.
Well,
but
if I know anything, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but if I know anything about Marvel, the reasoning for doing that is important.
Yeah.
You know, they're doing it now versus then. Some of that might have been they hadn't fully flushed out all the way that they wanted to tell the story. But moving forward, that forward momentum you mentioned, I have a feeling like there's got to be some connection to that.
Got to be. Yeah. But yeah, it's amazing. It's fantastic. Recommend everybody go see it. It's very, very good.
Okay. All right. Well, it's on my list for sure because unfortunately missed that and Fast 9. So Fast 9, Fast and Furious in Space.
Your family was there.
My family was there. The internet memes about Vin's superpower of family. Oh my God. I don't even have to see the movie now. I'm good. I
mean, yeah.
I've got all the memes for days on this. And it's like, you're not more powerful than the dark side. The dark side has many things, but it doesn't have family. You know, it's like just hysterical stuff. Oh my gosh. So many good memes.
So we started listening to a podcast a little while back called How Did This Get Made? And it's Jason Mantzoukas, Paul Scheer, and June Diane Raphael talking about movies, and typically not great movies, and how they eventually came to be and what they think of them, etc. For the Fast franchise, a little while back, they started having this tradition where they would just go crazy over every little thing. And before 9 came out, they had a podcast where they sat down and they analyzed, based on the trailers, this is what we think of this movie is going to be. And they nailed every single thing. I mean, from the magnets in the cars to the going into space, and specifically what they do in space. I'm not going to, you know,
yeah, like you're good. You're good.
They don't just drag race in space, you know? So, I mean, there's, you know, every element. They said, hey, this was in the trailers, and they nailed it. It was amazing.
So I just recently watched Hobbs and Shaw. Like, I am like so behind.
Oh, it's so
I loved
good.
it. I loved it. I thought it was
you need
good.
to listen to their podcast about Hobbs and Shaw. That's where Hannah and I first started listening to them, because that one was so good. It was great.
I will definitely.
I'll find
that.
it.
It took me a couple of days to watch it because I wasn't sure what the language was, you know, and so like Harper hasn't even watched all of the original Fast and Furious, and it's nothing, you know, but it's, you know, it's those random cuss words that I don't need her to hear. And there are a few scenes I don't want her to see. So
absolutely,
you know, it's just one of those things, but in general, I have really liked the Fast and Furious franchise. I want to say the last one that I saw, though, might have been Charlize Theron's version, where she's the bad guy.
Yeah.
And The Rock grabs the missile and on ice and moves it. I feel like that's like the last one I saw. And I'm not even sure what number that is at this point.
I was going to say, honestly, for me, they kind of run together. I feel like this is where I really wish that Hannah were here. She knows them a lot better than I do, but they do kind of start to blend. I got a little mad at, I think that was the one, because of the way they kind of drew Dom as the villain, and then he like was manipulated by somebody for dumb reasons. And I mean, it was good, and this movie also very good. But I will say Hobbs and Shaw is definitely the high point of the series for me. And
gotcha. Okay.
You know,
I'll keep that in mind. I mean,
this one, John Cena's in it, so apparently they're just going to start bringing in random WWE retired wrestlers, to play every character. And
for me, I think the part, and maybe this is the sentimental side of just who I am, but the last movie that I watched for sure, I think, was 7, because that's where at the end of the movie they gave the salute to Paul Walker.
Yes.
And so for me,
that was good.
That was heavy because of where the franchise started, what it represented at the time to me. Very much kind of the same feels as Star Wars in terms of just all of the things that I take away from that. So I think that's where I lost motivation to go watch them. Not because I think they're going to be good or bad, just because that was kind of the bookend on the series for me. But we'll see.
I feel like he's still alive in this universe, though. Like his character.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing the way that they still treat him like he's, out there racing cars and saving the day and taking care of, his family. And that's what I want for that character. I want him to be happy and, getting emotional.
Well, and it's super cool that his younger brother looks almost identical to him.
That's very true.
So it does help with some of that as well. But yeah, it's just kind of a crazy way to book into series, but it's just, I don't know. It was kind of something that after 7, I was like, man, I'm kind of done watching this at this point,
I really don't know like what what they're doing at this point. Not complaining. They're doing amazing things, but
they're making money. That's what they're
that's
doing.
True.
They're making money.
From the story standpoint, I think you're right. I think there was definitely this at the beginning, hey, we're, racing cars and we've got this family dynamic. And now it's more just there's a lot of explosions going on. In this movie, in 9, they introduced this random character that they just kind of imply, oh, well, there's this backstory with somebody. And to be honest, I'm still kind of wondering if this is just some random, like, I looked it up and the person hadn't appeared in any of the other Fast movies. So I think it's really just they wanted to bring in an actor to, play a part, and they were going to just do it by saying, hey, there's this really cool person. And they happen to know, Dom. Like, oh, okay. Because Dom knows everybody and everybody's family.
It's because Dom's like gravity.
Apparently.
That's a quote from the first movie. So, yeah, it's one of those things that always have a special place. And at some point I'll get to watching them. It's just, I'm not super motivated to like rush out like I was. Like Too Fast and Furious, totally was amped for it, was really kind of let down. Then we get, Fast and Furious, and then we get Tokyo Drift. Like those were better movies. And then you kind of see how it all weaves together, and it's like it's gotten better in places and not so much in others. But I think the point when you start like grabbing rockets with your hand, like I'm kind of checking out with that just because it's so unrealistic. Like, not that jumping a car through a building is realistic or having an ejector seat in a car is realistic, but there's more of a mechanical reality to that than I don't know.
Right. It's interesting how no one ever dies in the series. Like the big thing in this one is they even showed in the trailers, that Han's coming back. And like, what? Yeah. How is that possible? What is happening?
You have to think that it's a timeline jump, right? Because like Han died. Did they go back in time? I mean, you've seen the movie, so you don't have to tell me, but it's just, those are the weird things,
I can tell you that, without spoiling anything, that it makes no sense. And that's,
okay. It's kind of what I was afraid of.
Yeah.
That's what I was afraid of.
Kind of I think the weirdest thing for me actually is that, no, I'm going to go ahead and spoil it for you. Han's not dead. And
I already knew that. I saw the
only person that has actually died in this entire series is Wonder Woman, and I don't understand that.
Right? I mean, how you kill off Wonder Woman? Jeez. Okay. Well, now I don't need to watch it. Thanks, Sam. I'm good.
Yeah.
Don't need to watch it. Totally cool.
There's a Fiero with a jet engine on the back. Come on, man. That should be enough for you right there. Engine.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. All right. Well, I think that's about as much as we can cover today because there's still a ton more. So we'll have to kind of edit what we talked about and then start over next week.
I think so. The only other thing that I would mention
is
there's been a ton of gaming news that we have not really been able to talk about.
Take it away, man.
E3, we missed PAX. They had an online thing over the last week or so. And then Steam has launched a new handheld console, or their
I saw you guys talking about that. So it basically crashed the site.
Yeah, briefly. Sort of like remember. Well, I mean, whenever any console comes out, they're impossible to find. And what Valve decided is that for the Steam Deck, as they're calling it, which just to give you the background on it, or anybody that isn't paying attention, it's basically a Switch. It's a PC on the backside, but it's 7-inch screen, got the normal joysticks on either side, and a couple of touch sensitive touchpads, which is kind of interesting.
Sure.
But it's going to run Steam OS. Basically, it's a Linux based operating system, and it's going to play all of your Steam library, which is really cool. And it's launching for, I think it was $399 is the base model,
That's
which
not
is
too
actually
bad.
Yeah, it's actually really comparable to what Nintendo's doing now with the Switch.
Yeah.
They announced their new OLED version of the Switch that's going to be coming out soon. And price-wise, there's not a big difference between the two. But again, from a library standpoint, Steam obviously has a significantly larger library than Nintendo does.
For sure.
But what Valve did was, in order to put in a reservation, because they're not actually doing orders until like December or something. So you're essentially reserving the opportunity to later purchase the thing, which is a little shady, but I like that they did it this way just because it kind of avoids some of the bottlenecks we've had with the other consoles. You have to have an account that's older than a month, and you have to have made a purchase more than a month ago. So you can't just create an account and then order the thing.
Yeah.
So they know that people that actually are invested in the ecosystem are going to be buying them, and it's probably going to cut down on things like, the resale that we're seeing with the other things. Yeah.
Everything. Yeah.
But yeah, I actually was thinking about doing like a whole video on the current state of like Linux gaming and stuff, because there's a lot of concern about that. Pretty much the big limiting factor is anything that uses anti-cheat software, you really can't do on this thing, and that's very unfortunate, but I suspect they wouldn't have gone this direction if they didn't have at least something in the works to try and get around it. So
yeah,
I'm hopeful. We'll see.
I will tell you, I mean, I don't understand someone that's not cheating in general frustrates me in video games, but I don't understand doing it for leisure. Like
right.
setting up yourself to win that's not fun at that point. Like,
it's true.
What are you proving?
That's why I don't play with Church anymore. Because whenever we played games, he'd always win, and there was no fun. I mean,
yeah. Well, Church can kind of be the fun stealer,
I wasn't going to say he cheated. I was going to say he won all the time.
So talk about PAX. What do we miss at PAX?
Oh, I don't have a whole lot more beyond that. I mean, really, it was just an online event. They had a lot of panels and stuff. It's still available. I think they've got them all up on their YouTube page if you want to go back and see some really interesting, talks from different groups. All the conventions have been weird. E3 was also really weird because it was, all online, and there was a lot of talk about where things are going. Not a lot of big hardware announcements because everything hardware wise is hard to come by, except for Xbox. They're giving us a fridge.
Well, they gave us a chicken warmer.
That's true. I mean, well, you got to have both. You got to have the fridge for your soda and the chicken warmer for your chicken. So
exactly. Yeah. No, I agree. So here's something that's curious to me, and it's only because I don't really like the layout of the Switch.
Okay.
Why is that the shape that everybody's going with? It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I mean, that's an excellent question. You mean the placement of the joysticks or the buttons,
I understand where the handles are and why the screen's in them, but I get that.
Yeah.
But just the ergonomics of Harper's Switch, I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
It feels awkward in my hand. It doesn't feel like it's something I would be interested in playing for very long. Unlike a controller, where a controller is a little more ergonomically designed, right? Unlike the original Nintendos, where the controllers were squares, Xbox and PlayStation, they're kind of designed to be in your hand for a while. So I don't know. I was curious your thoughts.
I mean, you're right. I think there's a certain amount of Let me try to share something with you real quick. Just a second. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. I think there's a certain amount of limitation just with the size factor. You're trying to, you can't make it too controller-like because there's a lot of risk. But you'll notice that with the Steam Deck, they do have a bit of a bend here on the back. And they even have little buttons on the back, which is really funny because those paddles on the back, they have them on the Steam controller.
Okay.
And they actually got sued over that, like a patent infringement.
Really?
Yeah. So it's an interesting way to try and kind of allow you to maintain your grip and still interface, I guess.
Oh, well, maybe that's what it is then.
But I think it is a little
Steam
bit.
Controller, does that just hook to your PC?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Little USB dongle.
Yeah, I just used the Xbox controller. That's why I was asking. Yeah.
So it's there we go.
Yeah.
Instead of two of the joysticks, one of them is a touchpad.
Interesting.
So, yeah. Makes it really hard.
I'm sure.
I mean, it's good for some types of games, but specifically for any of the shooters or any of the games we play that are first-person mode, it's a little bit more tricky.
Yeah. Interesting.
But, so, but to answer your question on the comfort, I think it's going to be a little better because it's got the, again, kind of that curve on the back.
Sure.
With the Switch, you've got the removable Joy-Cons, so
which I do like if you're putting it on the TV or whatever.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, I imagine if you propped it up, it would be good too. Yeah. But I do like that, and I like that it came with kind of a controller option to slide them into, to make it a little more functional.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the Steam Deck is going to have a dock just like the Switch does. Well, sort of like the Switch does. So essentially, you can still plug in, USB controllers in, or you can obviously use your wireless controllers if you need to, and hook it up to a TV in a similar manner. You just can't, detach the two sides.
The thing that absolutely impresses me about the Switch is the fact that it scales to a TV.
Yeah.
And it scales really well. Like, it's not grainy. It's not any blurry in any way.
There's some magic there. Yeah,
there is. Because the Switch is not big, and we have a 60-inch TV. And, it just goes like it's nothing. Looks like I plugged in an Xbox. You know what I mean? And
that's the thing with both of these devices, both this and the Switch, they're actually playing on the device in only 720 or 720 resolution. So it's not even full HD as we typically would describe it.
Right.
And so when the Switch upscales, because I believe when you plug it into the dock, that goes ahead and changes it to 1080. I don't know that the Steam Deck's going to do the same. I'm curious, but
yeah,
again, there's some magic there. It is definitely more powerful than the Switch, just looking at all the actual specs. But I mean, I don't know that you're still going to be, I don't know that you're going to get all the ray tracing and whatnot that you'd expect out of a PC game. I think we expect more out of a PC than we do out of a Nintendo console. Nintendo has done a really good job of creating kind of a standard, and even if it's not, even if it's not pushing the technology from a graphical standpoint, it's enough that people are still just in love with it.
Sure.
Everything else is solid enough that's fine.
I also don't think, though, if you're, and maybe this is just me, but if you're picking up a console like that, like a handheld, you're not expecting Xbox and PC quality video and gaming in that handheld. You're expecting a handheld, right?
Right.
and maybe that's because I grew up with a Game Boy and the little Tiger games,
Yeah.
And that's why my brain works that way. But for me, if I'm picking up something like that, I'm not expecting it to look like the Xbox does or like the PC does. It just doesn't. It doesn't scale that way in my own head. So I don't know.
Well, yeah. So
I wish I still had some of those Tiger games, man.
I still have Tiger Football.
I tore it up in some Larry Bird basketball.
Oh man,
loved it.
Awesome.
Wish I still had them.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they could be around here somewhere, but I don't think they are. I think they are long gone. BlizzCon 2021 is canceled. My guess would be COVID restrictions.
Again, it's really tough to do, and I think we had some really weird experiences because everybody's trying to do stuff either online or with little to show, and it's
well, and something like what you're talking about with regard to gaming, that's affected by computer chips. So, that's just kind of one of those things right now. Like I would imagine a home show is probably being affected by prices of lumber. You know? So, it's just that kind of thing. So it's kind of a weird time to be around because Cav and I were talking about Denver. And for me, there's just no way that I can go right now. But then we were talking about Dallas. Well, Dallas is still on the books as of right now. Could change in a month,
Right.
You just never know. So it's just really interesting, the things that have canceled, the things that have been still affected. And sorry if you can hear the dog barking in the background. The door is shut, but she's apparently needing something.
Well, maybe I would take care of her.
Well, I got a kiddo that's supposed to be doing that, so we'll see. But anyway, any other game news, Sam?
Oh, I think that's the most of it.
Okay, new Fall Guys season coming out with a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah, they announced it with a jigsaw puzzle. They announced.
Okay. Well, I just read the link. Sorry.
Yeah. It was little pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. When you put them together, it was a picture of the beans from Fall Guys in kind of a jungle environment, and that's awesome. The new theme. So
that's awesome.
I played a little bit.
To get back to Fall Guys. That was fun. Harper really enjoyed it.
It's a lot of fun and fun for all ages.
Yeah, because you're just trying to make it through an obstacle course. Not a big deal. Yeah, super fun. All right. Well, guys, this has been episode 182 of Gather the Nerds. I'm Nick. That's Sam.
Hi.
I'm sure Hannah's around somewhere.
Nope.
Darn. I thought she was going to say she wasn't evil, but that's
I was going to say, just wait until I say Hannah's still evil.
Yeah.
No, nothing.
No, she doesn't care anymore. Okay. Well, guys, it's been great to catch up with you. Sam, it's obviously a great time to chat with you all the time. I appreciate you jumping on.
You as well, sir.
And hopefully life will allow many of us, if not all of us, to be back on next week. However, just understand that if for some reason we are not on for weeks at a time, we have not forgotten about you. Life has just gotten busy, and we just can't manage it with one person on our own. Nobody wants to have that. That's not fun. So
we blame church.
Yeah, it's always church's fault, whether or not it is or not.
Yep.
So either way, guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend and a great week, and we will hopefully see you soon. So I will go ahead and see you guys later. Sam, any last words?
Nope.
See you guys.
Uh-oh.